For the first time in his NBA career, Russell Westbrook was not on an NBA roster for training camp. And, he's 506 points away from being the top scoring point guard of all time.
Yo, what's good, everyone? For the first time in almost 2 decades, Russell Westbrook doesn't have a team. Let that sink in for a second. The Brody, Mr. Triple-Double himself, 9-time All-Star. Former MVP, just sitting at home, unsigned. But hold up, because the Sacramento Kings just flipped the entire script. Now here's where it gets crazy. After months of silence, teams avoiding his calls.
It's just sad to see what he is actually going through. You talking about, we're talking about one of the greatest point guards of all time.
And the entire NBA world asking, is Russ done? Sacramento said, nah, we're bringing Brody back. And guess who he's teaming up with? DeMar DeRozan. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody. So buckle up, because we're about to break down how one of the greatest point guards of all time went from championship contributor to free agent ghost story.
Last year off the bench, he averaged 13, 6, and 5, while being one of the leading 6 men in the league for the Denver Nuggets. And he's not on the roster. He looks like he could still definitely help a team.
We just saw him 2-3 months ago.
And why the Kings might be his last shot at a dignified ending. Let's get into it. All right, so let's rewind to October 2025. Russell Westbrook, 2017 MVP, holder of the all-time triple-double record with 203, is just out there, available, a free agent that nobody wants to touch. Now think about that for a second. This man was just playing a key bench role for the Denver Nuggets, the defending champions. He opted out of his contract in July looking for a bigger opportunity. And what happened? Cricket's teams weren't even offering him the veteran minimum. We're talking about $3.3 million. That's pocket change in today's NBA.
Yeah, Russ is a legend, and I think he deserves to be in the NBA right now, and I think he deserves to walk out of the NBA on his term.
And yet, nothing. But wait, there's more. So around early free agency, ESPN's Shams Charania drops a bomb. He says there's strong mutual interest between Westbrook and the Sacramento Kings. Okay, cool. Makes sense, right? Kings need bench help, Russ needs a home. Should be simple, but here's the thing. It wasn't simple. Weeks went by, then a month, then 2 months. And we're all sitting here like, what's the holdup? Sacramento met with him. They talked numbers. The deal was expected to be around that veteran minimum. $3.3 million for the 2025-26 season. No complex negotiations, no drama, just waiting. And while we're waiting, let's talk about what Westbrook did last season, because this is where it gets interesting. 13.3 points per game, 6.1 assists, 4.9 rebounds, 1.4 steals. Shooting 44.9% from the field and 34.2% from 3. His best 3-point shooting since 2020. Oh, and he finished 7th and 6th Man of the Year voting. Not bad for a guy nobody wants to sign, right? He even recorded a perfect triple-double in December 2024. No missed shots. No turnovers, perfect. So what's the problem? Here's where the story gets darker, fam. Because this isn't really about stats anymore. This is about reputation. It all started during his time with the Lakers. LeBron, AD, Westbrook, supposed to be a super team. Instead, it was a disaster. Russ struggled with turnovers, couldn't find his rhythm, got benched in the 2022-23 season, and the media absolutely destroyed him. Now, to his credit, he bounced back. Played well with the Clippers, thrived in Denver. But the narrative? That stuck. Critics started saying he's outdated. He can't shoot. He's a turnover machine. He doesn't fit modern basketball. Career 43.8% from the field, 30.5% from 3. In today's spacing-heavy, 3-point obsessed NBA, that's a liability. And now he's 36 years old, turning 37 in November. So teams look at him and think, is it worth the risk? That's wild to me, but let's keep going. Now here's the part that really got people talking. Because this isn't just about Russell Westbrook anymore. This is about ageism. This is about perception. This is about how the NBA treats its veterans.
Russ is in the conversation of legacy.
What's the only thing that could...
We talking about legacy. Let's protect the legacies of these players. Not somebody who's been in the league 5 years, 6 years, who went... No. This is somebody who's put in pain, pressure, #1 jersey sales, MVP of the leagues. This is what Russ did.
Some people started throwing around the word blackballed. Now, I'm not saying that lightly. That's a heavy term. But when you see a player with solid production sitting at home unsigned for months, you start to wonder. Carmelo Anthony spoke on this. He drew parallels to his own situation, how he struggled to find respect in his final years, bouncing around on minimum deals, playing limited minutes. Melo said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that Westbrook's intensity and fire, the same things that made him great, are now being used against him. They're seen as too much. That's the part that shocked everyone. Now, to be fair, Most contending teams already filled their rosters early in free agency. The Kings themselves were delayed because of salary cap issues and a failed pursuit of Jonathan Kuminga. So it's not just about Russ, but still, every day that passed without a signature, the questions got louder. So as of mid-October 2025, the Kings are still seen as the frontrunners. The deal is likely at that veteran minimum, $3.3 million. Everyone's saying it's potentially imminent. But here's the thing about potentially imminent. It doesn't mean done, and every single day without a signature increases the uncertainty. Other opportunities dry up, chemistry concerns grow. Teams start thinking, maybe we don't need him after all. Even Kevin Durant publicly came out and said Westbrook deserves to be in the league. When your former teammate and one of the greatest players ever has to campaign for you, that tells you something. So why Sacramento? Let's break it down. The Sacramento Kings are in a weird spot right now. They finished last season 40-42, got bounced early in the playoffs, and they're stuck in NBA purgatory. Not bad enough to rebuild, not good enough to contend. So what did they do? They went out and got DeMar DeRozan. 3 years, $75 million in a sign and trade. Then they flipped De'Aaron Fox and brought in Zach LaVine. Now their core looks like this. Domantas Sabonis, averaging 23.5 points and 13.2 rebounds. DeRozan and LaVine, proven bucket getters. Malik Monk bringing instant offense off the bench. Sounds good, right? But here's their main issue, bench production. They ranked 29th in the NBA, 32.1 points per game from the bench, 8.2 assists. That's terrible. So Westbrook on paper makes sense. 15 to 20 minutes a game, energy boost, veteran leadership, and he's got familiar faces on that roster. Sabonis, they played together in OKC. Dennis Schroeder, Lakers connection. DeRozan and LaVine, LA and Compton ties. Chemistry's already there, and this is a big but, does he actually fit? Alright, let's get real for a second. There are legitimate concerns here. Spacing. Russ is a career 30.5% three-point shooter. In a modern offense where you need floor spacing, that's a problem. Turnovers, 3.5 per 36 minutes. Still an issue. Age and durability. 17 NBA seasons. The body takes a toll. Analysts are divided. Some say it's a low-risk spark. You're paying him basically nothing, so why not take a chance? Others say it's a terrible fit for Sacramento's motion offense. And then there's the roster crunch. The Kings have a logjam at guard. They literally need to trade someone to make room for Westbrook. And that's the main holdup right now. Because if they wait too long, the opportunity dies. Teams don't want to disrupt chemistry mid-season. We've seen this before with other veterans. Carmelo Anthony went through the exact same thing, so the clock is ticking. Now let's talk about what the fans think. Because Sacramento fans, they're not happy. Polls show about 80% are against signing Westbrook. 80%! They see this as owner Vivek Ranadive's vanity move, signing a big name for the headlines, not for basketball. And that raises the question, is this about winning? Or is this about legacy and respect? Because here's the thing. Westbrook's legacy is already cemented. 20,550 points, 9,468 assists, 8,378 rebounds, 9-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, MVP, named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team, 2-time scoring champ, 3-time assist champ, 203 triple-doubles, gold medals in 2010, FIBA and 2012 Olympics. This man defined the modern triple-double era. His legacy is Hall of Fame, no question. But right now, he's just fighting for a dignified exit. Let's go back to what Carmelo said, because this is the emotional core of the story. Melo pointed out that Westbrook's intensity, his fire, his competitiveness used to be his greatest strength. Now, it's seen as too much. Teams look at his passion and think it's a negative instead of a positive, and Melo knows this because he lived it. Veteran minimum roles. Limited minutes, having to prove himself over and over again just to stay in the league. Westbrook declined the Nuggets' $3.4 million player option because he wanted a bigger role. He bet on himself, and it backfired. Now the debate is this about his attitude? Is it about fit? Or is there something else going on? Quiet blackballing that nobody wants to talk about. I'll let you decide. So what if Sacramento falls through? Are there other possibilities? Some people have speculated about the Milwaukee Bucks. They need backup point guard depth. The Boston Celtics could use a veteran bench scorer. The Houston Rockets? That would be a Kevin Durant-Westbrook reunion, especially after Fred VanVleet's ACL injury. But here's the reality. There are no official offers. None. Zero. Dwight Howard even suggested Westbrook could make $12 million on a China tour. That's lucrative for sure, but that would end his NBA career. And there's too much left on the table. Because check this out. Russ is only about 450 points away from passing Oscar Robertson for the most points ever by a point guard. 25,762. He is already 8th all-time in assists. He's on the verge of joining the 25,000 points, 9,000 assists club. Elite company. But if he doesn't get signed, those milestones stay out of reach. And that would be tragic for a legend of his caliber. So let's bring it back. Because this isn't about championships anymore. Westbrook already got his ring with Denver. This is about respect. This is about dignity. His legacy is secure. Hall of Fame ballot? First ballot probably, but fans and peers just want to see him finish on his own terms. If the Sacramento deal happens, it won't be glamorous. Modest minutes, leadership role, mentoring younger guys. But he could still script a graceful final act. Imagine this, Westbrook's fire paired with DeRozan's finesse. That backcourt energy off the bench pushing Sacramento into the playoffs. It's not the Hollywood ending, but it could be a good one. So here we are. A Kings signing feels inevitable at this point, assuming they can clear roster space. If it happens, Westbrook gets his shot. If it doesn't, one of the greatest to ever do it walks away without a proper goodbye. Not the ending he deserves, but maybe the one that fits. What do you think? Should Sacramento pull the trigger? Is Westbrook still worth a roster spot? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you made it this far, hit that like button and subscribe for more NBA breakdowns and analysis. This is just the beginning of the 2025-26 season. And trust me, there's a lot more chaos coming. Catch you in the next one. Peace.